Hi guys, it's Angela. So as most of you know, I grew up as a magician and I was also homeschooled. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about traveling. Now, as some of you know, my parents had normal 9 to 5 jobs, but since they were magicians as well, we would sort of go and travel to different venues, usually on the weekends or during the summers. And so, wow, so many stories, man. I'll never forget the time that we flew to Japan and we had 9 pieces of luggage for just 3 people, and we were only staying 2 weeks. I'll never forget. I don't know why customs didn't have people who really spoke fluent English on this particular day, but for some reason they didn't quite understand. We were trying to let me tell you, it looked like this crazy game of charades. We're doing magic show, and trying to display, pull a rabbit out of the hat, all these different things that were pantomiming. And I'll tell you, if people in the airport saw us, they would be like, okay, these people are on the next flight to the loony bin. But anyway, so the customs people are going, 9 pieces of luggage for 3 people? What's this? Well, so about an hour of really not getting anywhere, and even with our crazy charades, man, um, my mom finally goes, David Copperfield, and points to my dad. Believe it or not, I don't know why, but that apparently was the magic word. Because customs automatically they go, oh, David Copperfield, and they let us through. Still to this day, none of us know if they thought my dad was David Copperfield or if they thought we were part of his crew. But anyway, at least we got to make it to Japan and help. Well, we were the entertainment for an English camp. It was a camp that was teaching Japanese children how to speak English in this really remote part of Japan. And wow, let me tell you guys, I personally love travel. To me, it's so much fun to see different places and to meet new people and wow, just get inspired by different cultures. I mean, it just amazes me how doing these different magic shows in different parts of the world, you really come to learn that wow, as much as in our own heads, or at least in mine, I don't know about yours, you kind of tend to think that people from different regions are very different and you sort of put them in a box. Well, doing these shows sort of helped me realize, wow, these Japanese children laugh at the same very exact spots that American children do, and the same with different regions. Everybody seemed to have this common bond, and that was really sweet and special to know. And I know this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but it really sort of reminded me of Disney and the ride It's a Small World. Because truly it's like all these different cultures, they're different in their own rights, but there's something common about them. There's something that connects us all, and it's just a really beautiful thing to see and to get to witness. So that's a little bit about travel. But another thing, especially with doing magic shows, that made things kind of complicated was the different logistics. We would basically, drive wherever. Well, you get a general idea by calling up a venue and stuff like that, but without actually seeing the space, it's really hard to plan a show. So a lot of times we would get there several hours before the show, and before we brought any of our stuff in, we would take a look around the venue. We would walk around and sort of kind of have a checklist. Are there any windows? Are there any mirrors? Is there a pathway that would sort of interfere with where we want our show to be? Is the lighting, can it be adjusted, or is it fixed in a certain spot? Would it create really strange shadows or something? So anyway, we would obviously bring our own lights as well, but always good to sort of have an idea of what the venue has. And so what we would do is take a look at all those things, and sometimes, depending on the venue, if it did have a lot of stuff that we had to work around, we would literally, just a few hours before the show, have to re-block our entire magic show. No joke. Let me tell you, I don't know how my parents pulled it off, but somehow they always managed to stay professional and to stay positive and to stay really sweet. And I've always been so inspired by them and their positivity, and so that was really special for me. And one thing I thought was always really cool is I was watching reruns of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and believe it or not, there's an episode where Dom DeLuise guest stars, and he's got this crazy table that it looks like a briefcase, but with the flick of the wrist, it turns into this table, and I think he even performs magic shows with it. That table, we actually have the same brand of tables that we would use in our shows, and so it was always really fun to see that. So if you ever watch that episode, it'll give you an idea of some of the tables that we used. But yeah, man, let me tell you too, we would do a lot of these car trips and stuff. Man, bless my parents. Okay, on long trips, about 10 hours or so, they would usually do a really good job of trying to make sure that I would stay entertained. And so they'd bring along a bunch of movies and TV shows and sing-alongs. Well, I had this really bad habit back in the day. I mean, now not so much, but back then, I was so in love with this one sing-along tape. I would just play it over and over again, and I when it was done, I'd be like, "Mommy, can I watch that again?" And, she must have had the patience of a saint, because she'd be like, "Well, okay, if you really wanted to." And so we'd rewatch those things, and I still don't know how my parents put up with what I would consider now torture, but back then they totally didn't mind, so very grateful for that. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about travel. It's still near and dear to my heart, so even though I've sort of hung up my magic wand a little bit right now, quasi-retirement, I still enjoy travel, and it's funny to me because what keeps me entertained now, I'll just bring along Mad Libs or write song parodies or dance in the car to the radio, any number of things. But I still love experiencing new cultures and new experiences and meeting new people. And I hope I get to meet each and every one of you someday. So definitely comment and tell me what you enjoy about traveling too. And I guess until next time, see you later.